It has been 8 years since AIDS first received media attention. Since that time, over 50,000 Americans have been diagnosed with the disease, and over half of those people have died. Every profession has felt the pain of AIDS, but perhaps none more so than the world of fashion. Right now, Evening Magazine travels to 7th Avenue in New York City to find out how the fashion industry is coping.
7th Avenue, New York's fashion avenue where image is everything. It's a world of glamour, illusion, and hype. AIDS and the devastation it brings with it doesn't seem to fit into this picture. But more and more, AIDS is becoming a fact of life and death here, as sure a thing as the seasonal collection.
I think that the disease has everybody scared.
When it hits you next door, a friend or a colleague that you work with, I think you realize that it's very close and you too can get it.
So many of the most creative top talent has gone already. I don't know what to say.
And indeed, the disease is robbing the industry of some of its brightest stars. From models to designers, fashion illustrators to window dressers. With the loss of these talents comes the loss of their creative styles and visions. One such talent was William King, who died this past fall. His work as a fashion photographer captured the beauty of countless women, including Isabella Rossellini.
He was an exceptional photographer. He was responsible of my reputation and my career, so I'm particularly sad about his loss. I don't know, I mean, I feel like orphan. I think my career would change without Bill.
Wilhelmina Men.
As a result of the AIDS crisis, there have been subtle changes within the industry. Some have noted a trend toward straighter, more conservative looks among male models. And Vice President of Wilhelmina Models, Dan Dealey, has seen a shift in attitudes.
In the beginning, when people weren't aware of the actual disease itself, they were panicked. They were afraid to work with certain people. They were afraid to work with homosexual hairdressers or makeup people and share makeup brushes. But the more they found out information about the disease, they realized it was not transmitted that easily.
Perry Ellis. For over a decade, the name has meant clothes that are casual yet classy, young and slightly aloof. Words that could have described the designer himself. But by early 1986, Perry Ellis had lost his boyish good looks. 3 months later, Calvin Klein convinced Perry to attend a star-studded AIDS benefit at the Javits Convention Center.
When Perry came to the event was the first time that a lot of people had seen him in a long time and really began to realize, just because of how he looked physically, that he was ill. Perry was photographed that night along with a lot of people in the business for ads, which ran, as in a lot of the national magazines. And, to think that by the time the ads came out, he was no longer with us was quite a shock.
Since Perry Ellis' death, the company has gone through a period of management upheaval. They denied us any participation in our story, as they have continued to deny that the designer died of AIDS, despite opinions to the contrary, in and out of the industry.
Well, as far as companies wondering whether or not, how it's going to affect their business if a person dies of AIDS or if he dies of anything, I think the real question, the real problem, it's a very real fear for these people. For us, it just never occurred to us.
Mark Bozek is Director of Communications for Willie Wear Willie Smith. Willie had been one of America's foremost designers, specializing in offbeat, comfortable sportswear. I had the occasion to interview Willie Smith last year.
Fashion is one of those businesses where you can be a leader, but it doesn't really happen for you until everyone starts to follow. So then when the world started making big, oversized clothes, I guess they sort of took a look back and said, oh, well, Willie was the one who did it.
Shortly afterwards, at the age of 39, and at the height of his career, he died suddenly of complications brought on by AIDS.
We were very open immediately to everyone. We felt it was very important to do that for the sake of AIDS. We didn't think it was going to affect our business in any way because of the fact that Willie died of AIDS. I mean, he was a great person and a great designer, and the fact that he was gone was what the real issue was.
Like Perry Ellis, Willie Wear is still in business, now led by others carrying on the designer's concepts. But they are missed. While some in fashion are mourning their losses, others, like retail and marketing consultant Peter Glenn, think that they must do more.
What I think they really need to do is go beyond being scared and saying, oh, all our creative people are being taken away from us, and do something about it. I think that the fashion industry is at step one fear. It's been there for 5 years. It's watching its heroes die. It's retrenching, and it is not doing anything.
There's no question in my mind that we all have to do something about the AIDS epidemic. At the very least, we must become informed citizens, because whether or not you have been directly threatened by the disease, there's no question that someday we will all be affected by it.
This is ABC News Nightline.